You're very welcome to be out in a cottage here in the west of Ireland. And the work continues. Lots and lots of work to get through over the course of Lunasa, which starts today. This is the first day of Lunasa, so you're very welcome. One of the most valuable things you can do to live in a very sustainable and regenerative way is to keep everything clean. And that's everything within the home, of course. I don't mean mowing the lawn outside. But it prolongs the life of everything you have. And it also helps to maintain a sense of balance. And what I've been doing this morning is I've been cleaning the sitting room. Well, I've actually been doing it over the past week because I had a day bed, which I'm going to show you now, here. I've had a day bed delivered, and it's got a little trundle bed underneath, that you pull out. So it's to make the sitting room work as a spare bedroom for at least 2 people when I have visitors. So it involved rearranging a lot of furniture here in the room. And as I rearranged everything and pulled everything out and made space, I got to work cleaning in behind, along where the wall meets the tiled floor. I don't have skirting boards, by the way. I never bothered to put skirting boards in after I'd tiled the floor. But as I've cleaned, it's sort of regenerated everything, and that's what cleaning does. It helps to regenerate what you already have and make it look like new. And so just here, just move this bottle of Lily's Eco Clean, which I use. No, it's not an advertisement. I don't get paid anything to promote anything. I won't promote anything. But yeah, you can see here where I've cleaned off the windowsill, and I've cleaned off the little shelf in front of the windowsill. Everything's been moved around. But I've even gone to the extra work of cleaning the electrical leads. They had got very dirty. They do get very dirty, and once you clean them, they just look like new. And it's more acceptable to be able to see them then, because some of them are visible. But there you go. Just cleaning everything keeps everything fresh, keeps it like new, and sort of quells that need to go shopping. You won't believe how I've got this set up. It's actually wedged. Just trying to describe. Come back here, Jack. I don't want you to knock it because my phone is on there. I've managed to squeeze the phone in between where the camera would go and the sort of rubbery bit on the bottom. Anyway, hopefully it's just going to work. I want to take you over to the vegetable garden and show you what I've been up to over there. Gloves and secateurs needed. So the plan is now to empty out all the pots, spread all the compost on top of what I already have, because this is a way of building up the soil here. And the membrane underneath, the cotton membrane, has already started to rot down, and I can see little bits of it now just coming up to the surface a wee bit. So it's essential now to really build up these layers to stop the weeds coming through. So it's a bit like kind of preparing it in a way for winter, but at the same time knowing that there's more harvest to come. west of Ireland, everything grows very, very fast. But also the weeds, the plants you don't want. So, got to keep on top of it all. Okay, so I've just taken some potatoes out of one of the little pots. You can see I've been working pretty diligently here in the vegetable plot, and I've managed to clear quite a lot of my veggies that were ready, and I've got masses of celery which is growing really well. I'll show you that in a close-up in a moment, but I'm just going to hold the camera with one hand here and take out some of these spuds. I've taken off the tops of the potatoes. You can just see here, look. I'll put those on the side, and I'm hoping that there'll be a few potatoes in here anyway. It's been a pretty poor year for the vegetable garden, simply because of the drought, you know. Here we go. Here's one. They're quite small. Just switch hands here. Okay. I'm going to just... Oh, look at this. There we go. So this is the potatoes in the tyre. They haven't done too badly. They've probably had a bit more moisture because they're in connection with the earth, whereas some of the ones actually all of the ones in the pots were enclosed pots, not the open bottom ones. So, some nice ones here. Look at this. Now, those of you who are sceptical about growing in tyres, I will put a link up underneath this video about growing in tyres. There's been quite a lot of research done, and I've grown in tyres all my life. Well, I say all my life, but you know, all my gardening life, that is. Whew. So this is a... Oh, look at this. There's a nice spud there. And there. They haven't got too big. I mean, they would usually get much bigger if we had have had the rainfall that we usually would get in Ireland. But anyways, oh, that's not a bad one. And of course, the thing about the tyres is you're able to put the compost and the compost. Well, I put the compost in right at the very bottom. You can see now this is the woody bits, and of course all that can now go out onto helping to build up these beds, because of course you know that I just started this vegetable garden off from nothing, Well, it was a very weedy patch. Oh, look at this. I mean, these potatoes are not huge, you know, but they're, you know, an acceptable size. I bet they taste gorgeous. Here we go. Look, there's quite a few on this side here. Look at this. This is more like it. Seems to be the shadier the spot. See, in against the hedge here was quite shady. So it obviously held the moisture much better. You see? Look at this. Okay, I'm going to stop at this point now and just dig down. Because it's quite difficult doing it just with one hand. But, okay, I'll show you now when I'm finished. Let me just take off this glove so I can switch this off. So, a little bit of a catch-up now. So I've taken out the potatoes. There's the tyres and the black plastic sack that was in the basket. And I've moved the smaller pots down there. What I've got isn't a huge harvest, but I'm pretty pleased. So I've got 2 fairly big pots of potatoes there, which will do me quite some time, as I'd normally have, you know, 3 or 4 potatoes a day. The celery has done remarkably well. That's the celery in the basket there, and you can see how well that's doing. And that's the celery in the bottomless pot. I've also taken out the onions. The onions didn't do too well. The parsley, which is in a bottomless pot, is doing superb. That will keep growing for most of the winter. It's in a nice sheltered spot, as is the mint and the flat leaf parsley. The rhubarb has done spectacularly well this year, and I think it's because I put this little garden in. But the biggest surprise, don't know if you can remember when I was putting up a couple of videos about making this little vegetable garden, and I pointed out a very dead looking piece of wood here, and I said that was a mulberry tree that was there for several years and didn't do anything. Wow, what a surprise. Look at this mulberry tree. It's just sprung into life. It's amazing. Now, it's got so top heavy that I will have to do what I don't usually do with any of my, in fact I don't do with any of my trees. I will have to stake it, or at least give it some support, because it's it's just top heavy. I don't know how this has happened, because I did say back in that video, did I make 1 or 2 videos about the vegetable garden? I can't remember, but it was back in the very early spring or the later part of the winter. And I did say that this was my only failure. It was the only tree that didn't grow. And it's amazing, because once I said that, it started to grow. Maybe it was asleep. Maybe it was asleep, and it just heard me and thought, oh, I better wake up now and start doing something. Amazing, isn't it? So I spread all the compost that the potatoes were in out across the beds, because it's my intention now to really deepen these beds, because as you can see, the curtain material is beginning to come through, because it's you know, obviously rotting, which is precisely what it should do, as it's cotton. And the trick is now to really, you know, make these vegetable beds quite deep in compost, and then that in itself will suppress weeds coming through. As for all the stuff that I cut back along the edge here, look, I've actually put it in behind the little veg. No, it's not a veg, it's a little hedge. Little wattle. What am I talking about? You know, I'm actually so tired now through all this work. I've lost the run of myself. The little wattle fence that I made. So I've stacked everything in behind it. And down here, where I trim back a lot of the black currants, I've again made a little sort of edge of garden barrier. So I shall happily move my pots now over to the tunnel, scoop up the rest of that stuff. You can see Jack is down there sitting on it. He always sits quite close to me and kind of guards me while I'm working, because he's a good boy. He's Mummy's boy, aren't you? You are the bestest boy in the whole world, just the best. So yeah, overall my little vegetable garden, and it is little, has done very well. I'm very happy with it. And it hasn't, well, it's taken me about 4 hours in total to get it back into shape. And there's a bit more cutting back to do, but hey, a job well done. I'm pleased. Life is good, the work is hard, but you know, there's so much satisfaction in just getting things done. One of the great things about this camera, Jack is kind of weaving in and out of the tripod, and I have the camera just balanced on the tripod, you know. But one of the great things about the camera is that it's picking up the sound from quite a distance. So I don't need to get one of those dreaded mics. I tried to stay away from the mic thing because I wanted the filming, you know, just to pick up all the sounds here at the Ultimate Cottage. So it seems to be doing just that. So you can see I've been working here in the tunnel. I've got stuff to move onto one of the compost heaps, and I've spread a layer of chippings, bark chippings and tree chippings and anything that went through the shredder, plus some things I had in the sack, all around the polytunnel on the beds. And this is going to help to just keep that moisture in the soil. Well, thank you for visiting Bealtaine Cottage here in the west of Ireland. It's lovely to share this little paradise on earth with you. And of course, it's a paradise that you can plant. And that's the message. The entire message from the Bealtaine project is to plant. And don't be frightened of planting closely. That's what I've done here. Everything is planted really closely, and the only bits that are left open are the paths. A wee bit nervous there because Jack was running through the legs of the tripod where I have my phone precariously balanced. But if you'd like to support the Bealtaine project, I'm a writer. I write all about Bealtaine Cottage, planting, growing, living with Mother Earth, my journey as a Celtic Pagan, and just living joyously here in the west of Ireland. I also explore, I love to explore some of the old myths and legends, and my writing can take twists and turns because I very much write as the Spirit moves me. I plant and grow as the Spirit moves me. I even make videos as the Spirit moves me. I try not to keep any agenda going at all. And that way I can live in joy and share this with you. And ask nothing of you. But if you do choose to support my work, you'll find a link to all my books, calendar, map and bumper stickers underneath this video. You'll also find a link to Patreon, where for as little as €3 a month, you can treat me to a coffee, which you know I love. It sort of fires me up. On that note, I just might go and make another coffee. Blessings to you all, and happy Lunasa! Happy, happy Lunasa! It is a wonderful time of the year. So blessings to you all, and the blessings of Lunasa to you.